You have a big voice, a big personality, a big dream. So you want to go all in, right? So my background is in media. I created 5 television shows that were broadcast and sold to over 60 countries. I really love the combination of 2 things. First of all, the wellness space, so personal development, mindset growth, as well as the media world. And when I went into media, it was to combine those 2 things. I want to use my voice and my platform to help other people in this space, other people that are doing good in the world with whatever, niche or message they have, to be able to share with them how to expand their brand message outside of just a personal brand. What is your unique voice? What makes you different? Your unique selling proposition as a person, as an individual. What is your unique backstory? What are you bringing to the table? Who is your unique audience, your niche audience? What is the problem or pain point you are solving? And what is the solution or transformation?
Welcome to the Thought Leader Revolution with Nikki Ballou. Join the revolution. There's never been a better time in history to speak your truth, find your freedom, and make your fortune. Each week, we interview the world's top thought leaders and learn the secrets of how they built a 6 to 7 figure practice. This episode has been brought to you by eCircleAcademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. I'm your host, Nikki Ballou. And boy, do we have an exciting guest lined up for you today. Today's guest is a dear personal friend of mine. She happens to be one of the world's leading thought leaders when it comes to developing a powerful, incredible, TV-worthy brand. I am speaking, of course, of none other than the one, the only, the legendary Aida Memisevic. Welcome to the show, Aida.
Thank you. Okay, you are most definitely the best intro person on the planet, Nikki. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good to have you here. So, Aida, the folks who listen to this show are, in my view, society's greatest heroes. They're the men and women who have the courage, the balls, the ovaries, to put themselves out there with their dream and strive to make them come alive. They come to this show not because of me, because I'm here every week. They're here because of you. They want to learn from you. They want to imbibe what you have to offer. But before they can do that, what they need to do is get to know you. So tell us your backstory. How'd you get to be the great Aida Memisevic?
Oh, you're adorable, Nikki. Nikki and I know each other, just so you know, years ago when I was running my television shows. And I'm really grateful for our relationship and friendship, by the way, Nikki. I just want to say that. And what you're doing in the world and is a lot of positivity that you're bringing. So thank you for that. So my background is in media. I created 5 television shows that were broadcast and sold to over 60 countries. My background is in media. My education is in media, and my master's is in digital media. And I really love the combination of 2 things. First of all, the wellness space, so personal development, mindset growth, a lot of the things that you talk about, Nikki, on your podcast, as well as the media world. And when I went into media, it was to combine those 2 things. And so most of my content and my TV shows were about health and wellness, positivity. I interviewed lots of the famous thought leaders of the world like Bob Proctor and Lisa Nichols and Jack Canfield, et cetera. So right now, what I'm doing is I want to use my voice and my platform to help other people in this space, other people that are doing good in the world with whatever, niche or message they have, to be able to share with them how to expand their brand message outside of just a personal brand.
That's very powerful. How to expand your brand message beyond the personal brand.
That's right. So when you think about creating your personal brand, you're thinking about, if you think about creating your website, you need to establish your personal brand. What is your unique voice? What makes you different? Your unique selling proposition as a person, as an individual. What is your unique backstory? What are you bringing to the table? Who is your unique audience, your niche audience? What is the problem or pain point you are solving? And what is the solution or transformation, so that when your audience comes to you, that is made very, very clear, and they can be like, yeah, that's my person, right? When we're speaking to the media, some of those factors still can apply, but it's different. If I'm a journalist or a TV producer, I don't really care so much about what courses you're running or what lead magnets you have. I want to know, if I put you on my show, are you going to embarrass me? Do you have the credentials that are going to be to position you as an expert in your field? How are you going to be on camera? What have you done in the past? Who else has covered you? What other media has covered you previously? Who are you in the world? So my reputation is on the line as a journalist, producer, etc., connected to your reputation. So you need to package that in a way where if you have a journalist that's thinking about interviewing you, sometimes what they'll have is they'll have 10 people lined up, and they will find you, and you'll have a few seconds where they will look at something and decide if they want you on their TV show, on their radio show, on the podcast, etc. So you need to have a message for media, and that's called a media kit. There's other terms for a press kit. EPK is an older term. And then you need to have a sizzle reel. So those are two things that you need to create if you want to get to the next level of your personal branding. So now also, just to be clear, this is a long-term strategy. This isn't like, as you're working on your lead gen, your sales process, that's like a short-term strategy. A media strategy is, where do I want to be 5 years from now? And what do I need to do today to make sure that I get to the next level, and next level as I move forward?
I love what you're talking about, and there's a lot to unpack. I'm going to entitle this episode Beyond the Personal Brand, because I think that really encapsulates what you're talking about. So one of the things that I'm keen on right now is I'm keen on having the world know about Nikki Ballou as the world's leading authority on podcast guesting for profit. How to get booked on shows and get paid. In fact, I have a course called Get Booked and Get Paid. Most of the people who talk about podcast guesting in the world today talk about it as a means of gaining visibility, attention, and all those things are good. But getting paid is awesome and amazing. So if you want to think about it, one of them is like riding your tricycle with training wheels. The other one is like being a racer at the Tour de France, winning the championship. So that to me is very powerful. And when I hear you talk about this, I go, okay, do I have a media kit? Well, a long time ago, I created one. It's out of date as all get out. Do I have a sizzle reel? No, I don't. I got a lot of appearances of me here, there, and everywhere, but I don't have a sizzle reel. And should I get one? Well, the short answer is yes. I absolutely need to get one. And how do I brand Nikki Ballou, world's greatest podcast guest, world's greatest authority on podcast guesting for profit in that regard?
First of all, everyone's strategy will be different depending on what they want to do in the world. So you have a big voice, a big personality, a big dream. So you want to go all in, right? Not everybody wants to do that. So if you're a person that you want to keep things local, smaller, then your media strategy will be a little bit different, right? But for anybody, what I'm talking about is for people that want to go where you want to go, Nikki. They want to go big. They want to go all in. So everything we're talking about today is focused on those people. So yes, absolutely, you need a sizzle reel and you need a proper media kit. You also need to refine your message. So when journalists are coming to look at your media kit, or your sizzle reel, they want to know about what is it that you can speak to about. So you have to find what's called like content buckets. All right. So for example, your unique strategy of using podcasting as a lead generation method, not as a media strategy, right? Which is both. It's both. But what you've done is you've created this unique lead generation system through podcasting and done it very successfully. So that in itself
I want to just be clear, guesting, not podcasting specifically, but being a guest on other people's shows.
Yes, thank you. Yes. So you being a guest. So let's say you line up 10 interviews as a guest, you are using that as a lead generation system where they could possibly be your client, correct? Exactly. So that's something very unique that you've done, and you've done it successfully, and you've accomplished it for yourself, and now you're teaching other people. So that in itself is a really unique story angle, let's say, right? So what you need to find, and what anybody needs to find, is a couple of what we call content focus areas, and then samples of stories. Okay, so if we were creating your media kit, Nikki, those are the two areas we would talk about. So in terms of content focus areas for you, from what I know about you, one of the things you focus in is around leading men, masculinity, what it means to be a man, that whole space. So we would get the wording around that. Then it would be around lead generation systems, specifically podcast, guest, whatever the system is, however you've rephrased that. Then as we were talking through, I would be like, okay, what else do you want to be known for? What else is your brand about? And so we would come up with, let's say, 4 different buckets. We call them content buckets. And then that would be displayed on your media kit. So if a journalist comes to you, and again, they're quickly scrolling, they'll be like, this is a specialty, this is a specialty, this and this, all right? Now, under those content areas, which are more like, I wouldn't say they're general, but they're kind of a general bucket. Then underneath, you'd give real life examples of what potentially stories would be. Now, in those examples, they've got a hook in it, a strong hook, like a viral hook, one that's like dramatic, that gives an example of what the story would actually be titled, or some like juicy drama in what will catch the audience. And so that's part of your EPK, so that journalists can quickly see what can you talk about, and what are some potential story topics, right? So that's part of it. You also, on your media kit, are going to have a short bio. That's where you would list some of your education. Again, not too long. You want to hit those points. You also want to make it clean, simple, and graphically beautiful, okay? If you have somebody that's running a large network or platform, they're going to know how much time, energy, money, and professionalism you spent on your brand message, okay? So it's going to count. It's going to count that it looks clean, professional, and that you have someone that has a graphic design eye putting that together for you.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So I look to myself and I go, okay, 4 content bucket areas. So podcast guesting is one of them specifically. The other one is in the arena of thought leadership, masculinity, 100%. And the other one's around authoring, because I've written 10 books. So those are 4 areas where Nikki Ballou is interesting to people.
Yeah. So now let's unpack that. Okay. So if we were doing an actual session here, I'd be like, thought leadership is not enough. It's too general. You'd have to be like I'll give you an example for a client of mine right now. So she is a finance guru. We just put together her media kit and her sizzle reel, which we'll talk about in a moment, the sizzle reel. Yeah. So if I look at her whole life, I'm like, what can she speak about? Because I don't want her to only speak about, I don't want her to be so narrow that she can only speak about finance. So let's think about this. So what is her life about? She went from, so one of our taglines is from inner city streets to Wall Street, right? That's a nice little hook. It's her story about being raised as a poor girl, not thinking she's good enough, to now being, a self-made millionaire that has millions of dollars under her care of finance, people's investment dollars. So that's a story hook. She's also a single mom, right? So she's also Latina. So these are buckets she could speak about. So where I might have a big Latina podcaster about entrepreneurship, so she's still speaking to her audience that wants to talk about her as a finance guru, but also her Latina background in her story. So what we would do, Nikki, is we would look at more about your background, and we could see how we could tie and bridge a story that speaks to your audience still in a way that ties it together, so that the journalist can say, oh, I could also talk to him about when he came to this country, what his background is, and still speak about being an entrepreneur from that perspective. So that's what we would look at.
Super cool. Super cool. Super cool. Super cool. Okay. So sizzle reel. What the heck is a sizzle reel, and why should anybody care?
Okay, so sizzle reel is okay. First of all, I'll just say, if you, even with your personal brand, because video converts well, I would recommend that everybody has some kind of a video message on their website. Now, it won't be the same as a sizzle reel on your personal brand. Remember, you're speaking to your buying audience. Okay, so that's going to be where you're sharing a little bit about your expertise, your program, the pain points, etc. A sizzle reel. Now, remember, you now have a media focus. You're speaking to the media audience, the journalists, the producers. So, what do they want to know? They want to know that you're going to be good on camera, that you're eloquent in how you speak, that you have a level of expertise. So, for you, Nikki, because you have been, you've run podcasts for a long time, you've been in the space for a long time, you've got a lot of footage, right? So if I were working with you, I would be like, okay, I need you put together, give me an hour of your best footage. Just put it all on a timeline and give me your best footage that you think speaks about your content, what you speak about, some dramatic moments. Anytime you've been in any type of situation with someone who is well known, so you are utilizing their social proof to connect it to your social proof. So I know, Nick, you've had some pretty famous people on your podcast, so you want to go to those first because you're connecting that to yourself, and you want to look at the spaces where you thought, wow, I really nailed that interview, right? I was really good in terms of being on air. So you put all that together, and then what I do is I go through and I start picking the pieces together and I start weaving a story. Now, with your sizzle reel, the beginning is very important. It's the same like in television when someone would send me their demo reel. You have a few seconds, like for an on-air demo reel, to catch someone's attention. So you want to create the sizzle reel very quickly at the top, where it's like Nikki Ballou, da 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 da, Nikki Ballou, da da da. It's fast. It's doom 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 doom, so that you're catching their attention. You're putting your most powerful clips, even for a few seconds, to create curiosity and establish your presence and your status at the very beginning, so that people will stay and watch till the end. And usually around up to 3 minutes is best, not longer than that. If you are going to promote yourself as a speaker, actually, I'm in the situation right now where you could add the speakers, you could add a section at the end where it's like your longer speakers content, right? Or you can separate them. It just depends what your focus is. If you're really going after the speakers area as an expert aggressively, and that's like really what you want to do, then you should probably have a separate speakers reel. But I would still add that sizzle at the beginning to your speakers reel to establish your credibility.
That's powerful. I learned a lot from listening to what you had to say about a sizzle reel right now. It's got to capture someone's attention right away. The best way for someone like me to create it is go to footage that's already out there, which there's lots and lots and lots of. And for most of my episodes over the past year and a bit, we've taken a 30-second to 2-minute clip. So all of those have kind of already been done for most of the episodes. So we can grab a bunch of that, patch it all together, and then use that to put something really, really powerful together. And famous people, I've had a few famous people on lately. So I like it.
But those are the fun. There's a couple of other suggestions I have for your audience if they're new. So in your case, you have a lot of footage. So with my client, she didn't have a lot of, she'd done a lot of Zoom interviews, which are fine, but I wanted her to have more in studio interviews. And so I would suggest this for you as well, Nikki, is for what you want to build is, like I said, the media is a long-term strategy. So you're building over time. So if you right now do not have a lot of studio interviews, I would recommend you immediately look and you find some local studios that you can go to and be a guest in those studios. The reason is you need that asset. You need that footage in a professional studio environment. So even if they have a small audience, it is worthwhile for you to get in that studio so you can utilize that footage, right? So that's a strategy you want to do, is in addition to the Zoom, which is a different look, you want to get yourself in some local studios. Because you need to build that footage over time, right? So she didn't have a lot of that. So we immediately booked her in a couple of studios so that I could use that footage. Also, I utilized her when she was on stage. Here's another thing. Even though this is a sizzle reel for media, there is still something impactful about seeing, like I had a shot of her with like 200 people on stage with a nice camera pull across the audience. I needed that 2-second clip because it established credibility for her. I also had a shot of her in a power pose on stage from behind the stage, and I used that as well. So in television and media, we have these things it's called B-roll, which are clips that are put over a voice or over you speaking to camera. Also, the way, and just to say, this is not something you can just throw to any editor. This is you want to get a person that specializes in short form video editing. And if you're going to hire an editor, you want to hire an editor that does, for example, like film demos, like film reels, like when you're promoting a film and you've got a minute promotion for a film, that's short form editing. That's what you want. You don't want someone who's doing long form editing because they don't have the expertise to know how to very quickly boom, 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 put it together. So that's what I would definitely recommend. Someone that does like film trailers, that they have that mindset of, I got to do it fast. I got to make it powerful. Right. So, and there's other things you can do. So you can use still images. So for example, let's say you didn't, by the way, another thing I want to mention, so I'm getting excited about all these different tricks here. Okay. So if you're ever on a stage in a big audience, for anybody out there, make sure you hire a video producer to get some shots. The minimum is get some good photos, because what I can do is a picture, I can use that still image and I can put a little camera zoom on it in editing, which gives a little bit of movement, but it still shows credibility. So worst comes to worst, if you give me, and now with AI, there's all sorts of things I can do with that, which is a whole other conversation about branding with AI, which I'll share. So you want to collect your assets. You want to collect all these little bits and pieces over time and keep them in a folder. And anytime you have any type of press, and you can start with your local community. That's the easiest way to start to. Go to your local newspaper, your local radio station, and start there. And press begets press. So you want to start with that. And in your press kit, you want to have examples of where you've been featured in the media, links most of the time. And you want the media to see that other media is covering you. So you're building like this press, these assets, let's say, right? Of course, you need professional photos as well.
You talked a bit about AI, and maybe we have you back for a whole different episode just on AI, because I don't want to convolute our discussion by bringing too much of an AI conversation into it, because that can just go in all kinds of directions, and people don't really know how to separate AI from the fundamentals of what you're talking about. What do you think about folks who these days are doing, for example, professional headshots using AI? So I have a very good friend of mine who took some basic photos of himself, bought an AI program that took those photos, and then using AI just turned them into really beautiful photos. Now, it's obvious that they're AI, but they also still look really good.
Okay, so the world is changing. There is no stopping it, whether we like it, whether we don't like it. I follow AI closely. And as I'm expanding my personal brand around personal branding and media branding, there will be an AI component. We're at the point now where you can create if you were to do a traditional photo shoot, Nikki, at a high end level, you would need a stylist, a set designer, you would need a makeup artist, you would need a producer, a director. And to do it at a high end, it's extremely expensive. Today, I could create a photo shoot that looks exactly like that with some high level AI tools. All right. That is a fact. So I was just speaking to a friend of mine who is a photographer. That world is changing. Now, photorealism within AI is getting so good that you're right. You can still tell a little bit. You won't be able to tell at all very, very soon. In fact, if you're really good at the program, it's pretty incredible. So this is a function of what is happening in our world. And the thing is that you can utilize it for brands. Like I could create an absolutely spectacular brand for you with your image in a way that describes your character. Like I could see you, Nikki, like if I were to do a photography, like a photo shoot with you, the traditional way, I would put you in a suit, like a mobster style suit with a set in like a drawing room with a cigar in your mouth, leaning back on a leather armchair, just really, embracing the masculinity of who you are and your message. Well, I could do that now without a $20,000, shoot. And so there's an opportunity here for people to create a brand that wasn't available in the past. It was too expensive. So we're at the cusp of a very interesting space around branding. And I personally am going to utilize those assets in the best way possible for clients. So it's here.
Yeah. My own interest in AI is how do we utilize AI to generate leads and book sales appointments? That really is what my own personal interest in AI is, because I want to help that happen for myself and for my clients.
Yeah, I agree. There's tools. Yeah, there's tools to explore. Yeah, there are definitely tools to explore. Yeah, but in terms of branding, like we're talking about what we refer to as assets, your branding assets, there are opportunities for people that are starting off or that don't have multi-million-dollar budgets to have their brands be incredible, absolutely incredible right now with the right designer and the right person that knows how to do that, the right branding agent. So yeah, that's available now that it wasn't available before. And I'm not talking about, again, just everybody can put their headshot in and get a new headshot. I'm talking about a full set. You are on like a full magical, incredible set where it's called hyperrealism, like you actually did a photo shoot. So that's where we're at right now. And I'm personally going to use that for my clients.
I'm very interested in exploring this for podcast guesting because that's something where my expertise is, I'm in a category of one right now. There's nobody else who does it like me in the world when it comes to podcast guesting. And I also believe that the time is now to take advantage of podcast guesting. In 2 years, this window will close. If you think about other ways people have used to generate leads in business, for example, paid traffic on Google, paid traffic on Facebook, on TikTok, those ways had their day. You can still use them today, but they don't work as well. Imagine that back in the day, that was a field full of gold. But everybody went in there and they dug up all the gold. There's no gold left there anymore. There's no gold. You go to that field, all the gold's gone, right? The gold is now in this new field called podcast guesting. Nobody's digging in that field except me and a few of my students. So it's a field that is full of gold that you can go into and you can dig up gold and make money from it. So from a branding point of view, from a world knowing who I am point of view, I'm super interested in promoting that for now, because I believe that'll open up a lot of massive doors for me. So when you're speaking about this, I'm not just interested for my clients. I absolutely am interested for my clients and my listeners. I absolutely am listening. I'm personally interested because I want to do this. I've been thinking about, how do I get my profile raised? Because honestly, my level of expertise in this is up here, but nobody knows me for this, like very few people, and that's got to change.
Yeah, you're right. You need to create a really, you need to focus now on creating a really good media brand, because you're at that level now where you have lots of assets. Like you have great photos, like you have, like, not everybody has all those. They're still collecting those things, but you actually have a lot of them. So to put all that together, I agree. I think you should be doing that. And what I would do with your topic around podcast guesting as a lead generation method is you put that together. So you position it as a new and unique lead generation method, because that's what it is. All right. So your focus is a new and unique podcast guesting as a new lead generation method that made me 6 figures. Boom. You need a nice clean line like that says what it's about, the outcome that it created, and why someone needs to hear about it. It's like, oh, that's curious. It's like podcast guesting for lead generation. I've never heard of that. What is that? So what I would do is I would present that as a topic where, like, I don't know if you're doing that when you're going on the podcasts. So in other words, like, if you want to get that out as a, like, I would do it as a, first of all, I would do it as a blog post, as a guest blog post, right? So I would find some bloggers or sites where they have quite a high audience, and I would put that in as a written form of a guest blog post. That's one thing I would start off with, right? And then again, you could find other people that where their audience is speaking about lead generation, right? So entrepreneurs, business owners, and the thing that they talk about is about marketing, lead generation, et cetera. And you are now bringing this unique topic around a new and innovative way of lead generation for a certain client base, right? And so, yeah, I think putting that together as a potential topic. And the thing is, if you have a blog post, not on your site necessarily, but on someone who has a higher audience, like, then that you can also do that in the future, and it also builds some credibility around that topic.
I like it. I like it a lot. I want to talk to you about this offline. So Aida, as we wrap up the episode, right? Each one of our best experts does a couple things. So first of all, if someone wants to get a hold of you, have a discovery call with you about what you do, what's the best way?
Best way is to go to my website, aidamemisevic.com, or you can find me on Instagram and send me a DM at Aida Memisevic.
Okay, we'll make sure.
And for me, what I'll do, thanks. What I'll do is I'll be happy to give any of your listeners like a complimentary review where we can take a look. You can take a look. What's really good to know is to take a look at what assets you have currently, what you need to maybe still get, and how you can start to position yourself. Because the first thing is you start collecting, putting all these assets together. And for everybody out there, create a folder on Google. If you don't have one, call it a media asset folder, and copy anything over that you have, bits and pieces throughout your drive, whatever, and start putting them into that folder and start collecting that as a starting point.
Very good. We'll make sure all that's put in the show notes. So we also asked each one of our guests to give us what we call your top 3 expert action steps. These are bullet point, your 3 best pieces of advice to help people win big in the game of life, in the game of business, in the game of going beyond your personal brand. You can pick one or more of these topics or all 3 of them, but I want your 3 best pieces of bullet point advice. Go.
It doesn't have to be about media branding specifically?
No.
It could be about anything? Okay. So then my mind immediately goes to what stops people. So remember that the thoughts that go through your mind, blah, 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 are not you. Okay. People are stopped by fear. They're stopped by negative thinking. They're stopped by beliefs that don't serve them. They're stopped by all these little random thoughts. That's not you. You decide who you are and what you think, and separate those two. That's the first piece of advice. You're not your thoughts. The second piece of advice is that people are all dealing with their own thing. So you might be thinking you're the only one. If you're at a point in your life where there's some difficulty or some struggles, everybody's going through that. So you're not alone. Keep going. Don't give up. It's the long journey getting to the end. Perseverance is really critically important. And the third piece of advice I would give is decide who you want to be in the world. Every interaction you have with a human being, you leave them with a little piece of yourself, whether it's the waitress that didn't get your order right, or the person that just cut you off, or your spouse having a meltdown. That could be one opportunity that they have with you. How do you leave them in that moment? So be kind, be considerate. That's it.
Yeah, those are good. Those are excellent, actually. I wrote them all down.
Yeah. And from a media point of view, get that media folder open today. If you're listening to me, open it up on your Google Drive, start filling it with your assets. That's the first step.
Aida Memisevic, awesome to have you on the show. You brought the heat, you brought value, and you made me think deeply about an issue that I didn't even know I needed to think about. But
there you go. Good.
This conversation showed me that I really need to think about this. So thank you. Listener,
it's my pleasure.
Aida Memisevic is the real deal. Go to her website, aidamemisevic.com. Go to Instagram, find Aida Memisevic. Send her a DM. I'm going to tell you something flat out. Get on her calendar. You're an idiot if you don't. Get on her calendar. She's offering to give you some of this. This is a high-level TV show creator who's going to show you how to take your kind of media presence, which, let's be honest, is probably not very strong, and make it bulletproof, golden, amazing. And all that can do is, first of all, have you be more fulfilled in the world because you get to shine in the way that you're meant to. Secondly, it'll bring you a lot more business opportunity and cash and leads. And that's always a good thing if you're an entrepreneur. And thirdly, it's going to teach you something, and it's going to light a fire at the very center of your soul that will only make you bigger and better as you go through life. So do yourself a favor and get on a calendar. Aida, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you, Nikki. It's my pleasure. This was fun. Loved it.
Me too. And that wraps up another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. To find out more about today's amazing guest, the one and only Aida Memisevic, go to the show notes at thethoughtleaderrevolution.com or wherever you happen to listen to this podcast, be it iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Audible, or what have you. Until next time, bye-bye.
This episode has been brought to you by eCircleAcademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.